kingdom from the concrete. Overpower, Prodigy. Yeah, the crown is what I came for. Overpower, Prodigy.
Yo. All right, welcome back. For some reason, this stream had no round 6. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. We are moving on to round 7. And we have Doug Sims, gracious host, against Joe Young, new player. Actually, he used to play Star Wars back with my dad and worked with the Cypher way back in the day. So a veteran CCG player, but new to the competitive scene of Overpower. And I'm excited he brought something a little funky here. Ooh, I see a Grim Reaper. He did say he had some sort of meta cracking deck on the Discord, and I was really looking forward to see some wonky wild stuff that was brought. But he still has something unique. He's got, if you notice on his front line, he has lots of Baker triggers. Carson, Merlin, Sherlock, and Watson all have Baker triggers. He's got extra negates. And in addition, he has speed, but not in the way of team speed that you see with Joan and Cthulhu builds, but he's got all 3 of his frontliners have a 4 make an additional attack. So you're going to be seeing lots and lots of speed. What? He just placed a 4 combat power card to Merlin. That cannot be done, sir. Merlin has a 2 combat. A little mistake there. I guess we'll see if that gets caught or fixed. And then on Doug's side, we have the Intellect combat hybrid, but no count, no Sherlock. He's going with Joan, Leo, Invisible Man, and Victory. Wow, both of them lost their Reaper hand 1. Not sure who ran there, can't see their missions and who bet what. We will try and follow along as best we can. Doug getting his aspect nice and early. Joe says, ooh, I'm going to remember my Merlin. Okay, that'll stay. Doug notorious for playing fast, so great that Joe remembered that trigger there. Wow. He drew a full suite of power cards. And he has a dupe 4, because he has a 4 on Merlin somehow, and then a dupe 7. Hopefully they catch that and Doug lets him move it over to Sherlock or Watson. When you play fast, little stuff can happen, but if it goes too long and then it gets caught later, he might be hosed and have to discard it, which would be unfortunate. Both players are loading up. Doug has an 8 combat, a Leo team of Void, an energy ally, Mr. Alan Quartermain. Hot shingles, you say? And then on Invisible Man, he has a 3 multi, a 3 brute force ally, and Invisible Man's card. I'm not even going to try and say the name of it. Well, maybe it's 1 at a time. Probably not. It lets you exchange for any power card in your draw pile. Doesn't have to be playable by him, so you could go fetch another 8 or a 7 or something. Both players have bid some amount of cards. Doug has 1 extra in hand, and Joe remembers the Scry. Doug also has an Intellect teamwork on Joan, and he has an Invisible Man's his other special, which lets you fetch a power card from your power pack, and then Invisible Man can attack face down for remainder of game. Your opponent can mill 2 cards in order to reveal it. Looks like Joe's starting off with some speed because that's what his deck does. A 4. Doug blocks the 4. I would have kind of liked him to see him block the energy. Whoa! Doug spends an 8 power card to block a 1. Did that just happen? That is some crazy value pulled off by Joe there. And he still wants to stay and keep fighting. He's going after Watson, the squishy little target. We don't know if Joe runs any Watson shift to him and take it and then draw a card. Doug fires back an ally, blocked by a 5 multi. He plays his Invisible Man card and is going to attempt to fetch another power card. I think that's why Doug was pretty liberal with the 8, because he's just going to go get another one. But still, spending an 8 to block a 1 is nutter butters. I cannot believe I just saw that, and he didn't even think about it. Invisible Man card is going to pull the Merlin. Is Joe going to press the assault? Or is he going to play that Carson shell card? Looks like he's going with Sherlock. 4 multi making a dish. Doug has big intellect in his hand. I think a 6, so Leo can't play that. Have to take that 4. That's gross. 7 for the kill. That will pull the Leo team avoid, so it's open season. I think he's going to have to run here. He's not going to want Leo to go down. He still has 5 plays to Joe's 3. So I think running isn't the end of the world here, but Doug does not like to concede. But he's probably going to like even less to lose Leo. Nope, I stand corrected. He's going to hope Joe does not have I guess the Merlin 4 is going to KO him. He's going to try and trade Sherlock for Leo. See if Joe's about it. Wow, the Merlin 4 comes across and blows up Leo. Here comes the 4 combat from Merlin somehow. Both players haven't caught it. Whoopsies. Merlin's been training for some reason. And that's a block. And down goes Sherlock. Wow, Doug was very happy to just trade these there. The 5 super hard to block from Invisible Man. And comes across a 6. Invisible Man plays his card to go fetch a card from the power pack. He's going to go recycle a 6. There's the shell. There's a 6. Doug forgets to play it face down. Immediately after playing the card. Love you, Doug. That was supposed to be face down. Then you would have maybe got him to mill 2 cards to see how big it was and if he wanted to Carson bump it. So now they count Venture. And Joe's deck, although it has speed and spectrum, it does not have a ton of Venture. We'll see. 4, 5, 6, 10, 16 to Doug's. Man, they're playing so fast. I don't know who won Venture. Gotta assume Joe won. He's got the +2 from Watson, and he landed like 5 hits to Joe's 3 or 4. I mean, Doug's 3 or 4. Both of them have some kind of discard, which they discarded super fast, and it's hard to see. Probably a Leo card. So another Merlin 4, another Watson 4. I did hear he's playing 2 of all of them in his deck. Joan 8, Aspect, Joan 4. I think he just placed the Watson 7 multi to Baker. It's kind of off screen. Ally. Unfortunately, only character that's playable on is Watson. Would kind of like to see, I don't know what the Venture's at, but I would like to see a 1 and run from Joe here. He could very much punish Doug's and make him lose the ferry. I do love seeing Baker Street mirrors. One thing that was awesome about this tournament is there's so much Baker Street and Asclepion. Better not blink or I'm going to miss a whole hand. Joe remembers his Merlin trigger. Well done. A 2, and Doug immediately snap plays the victory teammate. Avoid and go pull a power card. Watson 4 make an additional. Probably spend the 4 he just got to block that. There's the Watson 7, and he snap plays the fairy. I think Doug's decided what to respond with before his opponent's even decided what he's going to attack with. It's hilarious. Here comes an ally from somebody. Is he going to go into the string or the big Joan 8? Changes his mind. Goes with the Joan 8. Wow. Merlin KO'd. What is happening? A 7 at victory, blocked by a 7. That would have been nice on Invisible Man, who has yet to have his defensive card. There's a teamwork. Disoriented. And then Joe runs. And Doug says, I had a 1 left. So just like that, again, I would have liked to see a 1 and run there because Doug had so many more cards in hand. But Joe wanted to fight it out. And this is something to be aware of. Ooh, there goes 2. Oh. Intellect teamwork and 2 big intellect cards. And he has a Sherlock 5. Oh. I mean, when half your team's down, that's kind of what happens. You just lose all your cards. That's very, very unfortunate. Something to be aware of for new players. And what happened to me when I first started, 2 of my lifetime tourney losses have been to Derek Bertrand because they call him the machine, and he plays so fast. And I kind of figured it out and fixed it when I started playing Doug Sims because he plays the same way. When your opponent plays with a very, very fast cadence, you don't have to match their speed. You can, in fact, take a deep breath and think through your decisions. Just because they're playing fast does not mean you have to play fast. And, like, that is a good thing to know because otherwise you end up in certain situations where, you know, you blink and then 3 hands went by and half your team's dead. Like, looks like Doug bid 4 for the win. Joe drew 2 cards. One of them's a Sherlock negate, which he's going to have to throw away. I don't know if you realize there is some confusion with the bluffing rule and what you're allowed to keep, but you cannot keep a KO'd character special. So that Sherlock negate needs to go straight to the dead pile. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Oh, it was a bet 4, but not for the win. I think right now Doug's telling him, yeah, you have to throw that Sherlock card away. You can't hold it as a bluff. I'm pretty sure that's the dialogue that's happening right now. Hold on. I think there's sound. We're going to rewind that a tiny bit. Sorry, guys, going back in time. Well, I apologize for wasting everybody's time because I could not hear a word of that. I'm still pretty sure that's what that back and forth deliberation was you cannot in fact keep that Sherlock card off of a draw. But who knows? Maybe it was something else. Fairly irrelevant. Doug has one discard. There's more than one. 1, 2, 3, it looks like, from Joe's side, a dupe and a couple of Sherlock cards. He also has... Oh, no, he can play that. Carson has a 7. Intellect. Lots of doubles in Joe's deck. That's definitely how I used to build my decks, too. Like, doubles you dupe on less than triples, for sure. But it's also annoying when it's a clutch double and you dupe on it because, you know. Wow, Doug bids 4 again for the win. And Joe drew 2 cards and they're both keepers, a 2 and a fairy. That fairy is a really nice pickup. If he can potentially let someone go like Watson and then lock out Carson and get a KO or 2 on the other side. Oh, wow. Invisible Man says, I'm in your house. Yeah, I remember the name of that card. Show me your whole freaking hand, dude, and discard 1. Goodbye, fairy. Goodbye, fairy. Rip. Just rip her wings right off. So rude. I'm in your house. Such an awesome card. It's like literally the reason to run Invisible Man. He does other funky stuff, but that's the card. And now Doug can fully see every play that Joe can make. Blocks it with a 4, plays something I didn't see there. I think that was the open your hand back. And it pulls the Merlin. And now we have a 6 coming across. Make him up block. Blocks with the 6. Victory throws a 7. 5 plus 2. And then we have another 7. Interesting he didn't gun for Watson, but I guess he's playing the long game strategy. Even if he loses venture here, he wants to put Joe at a max 6 character only, even though Watson was frontline. But Carson does back up his grids nicer. I like Joe's deck a lot too. His grids funkiness is even worse than Doug's, because Doug's at least has 8 in combat and everybody else has decent intellect and then kind of a secondary combat. With Joe's, we have 2 energy characters, 3 intellect characters, and then a combat intellect character. Oof, and he throws intellect at someone other than Victory, and Doug gets the avoid off. I think the writing's on the wall here. He has St. Michael and Freya, so I don't think there's really anything that... Yeah. Yep, and there's the handshake. It's GG's. So that one was it was a good game. It was a good back and forth. Taking out Leo early was huge. Sacrificing Sherlock to do so, was it worth it? I don't know. There was a lot of discards on Joe's side, more than I saw on Doug's side. But then the playing super fast and losing Merlin unexpectedly, I think, was the nail in the coffin, where there wasn't really a lot that Doug could have done. Oh, wow. He would have lost 4 of the next 8 cards. Well, I guess 3, because he can keep the 8 for Invisible Man defensively. But yeah, crazy game. Crazy game. Definitely like fast players plus fast decks equals a fast match. That's sometimes how it goes. I don't know. Like I said before, like there's nothing wrong with being methodical. I mean, you definitely don't want to be the guy who every single tournament game you play goes to the timer, because then you're going to get a reputation for being slow. And you don't want to get a reputation for being a clock grinder, because that's just unfortunate and that's bad, and then nobody likes you. That's real unfortunate. But there's nothing wrong with being methodical. Like, you have 45 to 50 minutes to play these games. They don't have to be over in 12 and a half minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Like when characters start to fall, everything crumbles and falls apart. And you got to really know your deck. Like there are certain decks like Norse that I've been talking about this whole tournament where you're fine to trade characters because you're always gonna leverage and get a W out of it, you know, because you're gonna have less unusables than your opponent is. But you got to be really careful if you want to slug stuff out, and you can't be like too pigeonholed and completely committed like that last game. Like, oh, I'm bidding 3 for the win. I have to win venture here, and then you lose venture and you lose, half your team or one of your main clutch characters, and then you're behind the rest of the game. It's like you just shot yourself in the foot because you weren't willing to be flexible and rabbit. You can always make up the venture later. You can't necessarily always lose a super clutch character. So, good games, fun decks. I love seeing a Baker mirror. I love seeing unorthodox speed stuff. Love seeing Invisible Man. This was an awesome game. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.